Hey guys, happy Homebrew Wednesday. Just finished up listening to one of my favorite band records, Northern Lights, Southern Cross. One of their newer albums. Doesn't get as much praise as a lot of their earlier work, but I'm telling you, it's got some great songs on there. Having to use my old reliable backup turntable right now. I've got a great Pioneer that's hooked up to my Infinity stereo, but it needs a new stylus badly. So right now, just working with what the Lord gave me, and that happens to be the stereo that was my wife grew up with. So that's definitely an inherited model there. But you know what? It's working, it's rocking out, and I'm listening to tunes. I think it's time for another mug of beer. Special bitter. I've been really loving this beer lately. 3.6% Palisade hops, which I'd never used before. It's got this nice, earthy, but floral tone. Not quite as rough as Fuggle hops, and not quite as flowery as Golding, so I'm digging on it. Pouring it in my big pint, my Oktoberfest style mug. Not Cicerone certified for this style of beer, but I'm about to go outside and enjoy the weather. Got a great day. And look at that. Nice pour, good drinker. So you guys are looking right now at what my kegerator is. It's a large commercial kegerator. I'm not a rich guy. I actually got an incredible deal on this thing. I was looking on Craigslist one day, and someone had listed this as a beer tapper. Not a kegerator, nothing that said beverage air, true, or anything like that. Not, you know, nothing that would give you an indication of what it was. And I stumbled upon it. And I ended up calling them and asking if they still had it, expecting it to be gone because the price, and I'll get to that in a second, was just crazy. And they said they did have it. But I needed to have three things. I needed a truck, I needed $100 cash, and I needed a friend to help me move it. I said, I've absolutely got all three of those things. So I went down, strapped it in the back of my truck, got it home, managed to get it downstairs. It took about 4 or 5 of us to actually get this thing down here. Plugged it in, and the only thing that ended up being wrong with it was it froze the first keg I ever put in there. The thermostat was bad on it. Popped on a new Johnson controller. I've been off to the races since. It's great. This thing will hold, you know, some crazy amount of kegs. I forget what it is right now, but I don't just use it for pouring. I use it for maturing beers. I crash cool. You can hear it's a little loud. Not too bad when the door's closed. Got a couple beers. One I just brewed. I'm bringing it down to temperature. I've got another APA that's cold crashing right now, getting the yeast out. I've got a bunch of kegs back there that are for aging. Some beers on the side, some yeast that I'm storing. On the other side here, I've got some more kegs. This is typically the side that I hook my kegs up at. Got another few beers down there. The 2-year-old Chocolat Imperial Stout. As soon as we get a cool evening, I'm planning on cracking into that. And this is kind of my pride and joy. When I received it, it only came with 2 taps. It had a regular tap on this side, a regular tap on this side. From my old kegerator, I'd already bought Perlix. Actually, these 2 on each side of these are not Perlix. They're actually knockoffs, which have not been around now for a few years. I actually like them more than Perlix because I can actually completely disassemble the stem and everything. But I do have a nice Perlic that's in the center. They work great. They never lock up on me. They never stick. And then I took my old kegerator, which eventually I'll get around to showing you guys. I gave it to my best friend for $100. So I ended up getting this big fridge, or big kegerator, for essentially nothing, except for needing to buy some small shanks and a few other small things. But it works great. It's not the prettiest all the time. They drilled into it, put latches on this thing, and it actually came from a youth softball field, a Catholic softball field. And my assumption is that some guys were getting a little too drunk while watching their kids play ball. But their loss is my gain, and now I'm pouring big batches of beer out of it. It's been fantastic. Right over here is a jug that I keep Star San in. So at the homebrew shop, we used to use this for mixing up some inert chemicals for winemaking that now come in a liquid form, so there's no need to add powder and then add water and then liquefy it and add it, you know, make our own bottles. So I got it, cleaned it out, soaked it really well in PBW for a bunch of days, and now I mix arsen in it. So I just loosen up this nut on the top there. I crack open the valve and I fill up spray bottles. I fill up carboys. All works great. I also just grab a rag and fill it. I soak the rag and use that for wiping things down. These little brushes are great too. You stick those in the top, or in the bottom side of your tap. Keep everything nice and clean. If you have regular taps, these little plastic piece right there, they'll go all the way up into your taps. But since the Perlix have a much narrower end to them, they don't go quite all the way in there. But it doesn't matter. Works out great. Yeah, so time for a big pull. Yeah, so that's my kegerator, guys. But, you know, life's good. I've got some videos coming up. I've had a lot of fun doing my first Homebrew Wednesday. My brother has been nice enough to come over and shoot me for this Homebrew Wednesday, and then he also helped me film one of the demonstration videos that I'm doing, or showing you guys how I brew. The first one I'm doing is actually a can kit. It's a Mutton's Premium Pilsner. I'm going to go over the things I do like about these style of kits, the things that I don't like about these style of kits, how you can improve them even better than just doing the hop teas and adding some grains to them, because I find some flaws here and there. After that, I've got an extract with steeping grains. Some people call them partial extracts. Down here we call them extract with steeping grains. So there's no base malt at all. It's all just character malt. So crystal, chocolate malt, things like that. I'm going to do a pale ale. After that, I'm going to do a mini mash, and I'm actually going to do 2 of these videos. Well, it'll be basically the same video, but I'm going to show you 2 methods of doing the partial or mini mash. I have a 2.5 gallon cooler that I've converted into a mash tun, and I've also got a big bag, and I'll show you guys how to try and control temperatures on your pot itself. And then after that, we're going to get into an all grain that I do. I have 2 different mash tuns. I have a 7.5 gallon pot. I've got an 18 gallon pot, and I'm going to show you guys some differences in the volumes and the way in which I brew all grain. And then I've also got, let me grab this real quick. I wasn't planning on talking about this yet, but I've got myself 12 pounds of Missouri wildflower honey. This comes from a local beekeeper. Fantastic, fantastic honey, really delicate honey, delicious stuff. And I grabbed a pack of Y yeast dry mead yeast. So I'm going to do a mead video and show you how we do a large batch of that. At some point I'll get into doing some ciders. We're getting towards the fall, so I'm kind of out of cider mode at the moment. I also have some Zinfandel concentrated juice. And the homebrew shop, which I work at, St. Louis Wine and Beer Making, we are going to have our annual grapes trucked over from California. And while I don't make wine from scratch, I will probably do a day or a video that day showing you guys how folks take grapes straight from the lugs and destem them, crush them, sulfite them, or go ahead and pitch yeast and get them going. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you all had a great Homebrew Wednesday. Hope you're looking forward to the things that I have coming up. This has been a lot of fun so far, and yeah, I think it's time to get back to the big mug, put myself in the bag a little bit, enjoy the rest of my Wednesday. Cheers, and 17, guys.